Hello, hello, YouTube. How is everybody doing out there in YouTube land? Hello, everybody out there in the chat room. Hello, KDB17, Tech for Your Needs. Hello, how are you guys doing? Today I ordered the iPad 11 128 gig 2020. Nice in space gray. Can't wait to get it. I have the 2018 version, and we're gonna get to that. But I love it. I love my iPad Pro. It does everything that I need to do for my mobile photography setup. Now, it doesn't do, obviously, in my opinion, it doesn't replace a computer, a full laptop, but depending on your needs, it could very well do that. So, without further ado, let's talk about my current setup right now. Sorry if I keep looking this way. I have a camcorder over there that I'm used to looking at. So, without further ado, this is my current iPad right now, right? This is the 2020 12.9 inch, okay? And currently it is rocking the Logitech keyboard. Now, one of the main reasons why I went with the Logitech keyboard is because of the backlighting, the incredible battery life, the fact that it has protection for both the front and the back. So that's something that I really, really enjoyed about this. It has a place for the pencil. What's cool about it is that it has a sleeve that holds to the back, and the pencil, if you don't want it consistently charging all the time and draining your battery, then this little sleeve right here, if you slide it through, it won't magnetically pick up and drain your battery. So if it's at 100%, you don't really necessarily need to be using the pencil so much. There's that little sleeve right here, and then the pencil just slides into it like that. Then it latches back on. Now, what was really cool about this is that also when it is in keyboard mode and it flips to the back. Hello, hello, Catherine Ortiz, fellow moderator. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Get my mouse here. So that was really cool of this particular folio. There's the keys. Now, one of the things that I kind of don't like about this is the bulkiness of it. It can add a little bit of bulk to it. This is my first iPad that I ever owned. Awesome tech for your needs. You're definitely not going to regret purchasing it, especially with some decent apps out there. If you're not an Adobe Creative Cloud member, and if you don't download the Lightroom or Photoshop, there's definitely some great alternatives out there for you to utilize with this. Thank you for the support as well, Purple Moa. I greatly appreciate it. So there's some great apps out there that can utilize this particular device, your iPad Pro, and take it to the next level. Drawing, sketching apps, you name it. If you have a Mac, you can utilize it as a secondary monitor as well with Sidecar. So there's some pretty amazing features with this iPad in conjunction with a laptop that you can use, or an iMac. Anything in the Apple ecosystems in their computers, you can utilize it for that. But what I like to utilize it is a quick mobile photography editing studio, and so I utilize Lightroom. I've got some of my favorite presets loaded in it, so it's pretty amazing as to what I can do with this iPad. And then if I include video, I can utilize a few apps to pretty much fine tune a video. And there were some that I edited and completely did it on an iPad and posted it straight to YouTube using some pretty amazing apps. But again, as I mentioned, this folio, although really good, great keyboard, great travel on the keys and whatnot, it is a little bulky. And I wanted something a little bit more thinner. And with Apple's products, they go for design a lot more, which is something that I missed. I really love the original portfolio, keyboard portfolio. Even though it didn't have backlit keys, which do come in handy, it's still the thinness of it I really enjoyed. So as I mentioned, like there's a lot of like LumaFusion, Procreate, Affinity Photo, different things like that. You can utilize your iPad to be very capable of doing a lot of mobile setups and mobile editing, video, audio, photography, you name it. But what we are going to do is check out the reason why we're going live and the reason why hopefully everybody came, and that is the unboxing of this bad boy right here. See my screen right there. This is see if I can get the straight down shot. This, see if I can get this. Go. This is the smart keyboard, or the Magic Keyboard. I'm sorry, the Magic Keyboard from Apple that works in conjunction with the iPad. LumaFusion, great editing app that I have been looking into. It's amazing, especially 2.0. Allows you to add a lot more layers, a lot more video and audio inputs. Great video editing software. Allows you to use LUTs, which is very awesome. If you're into lookup tables for your video and you shoot log, and if you shoot a flat profile, that's a very great way to color correct your footage. It's awesome. I like it. Let's go ahead and unbox this. And for that, I am going to use top down so you can kind of see it right there. So let's go ahead, bust out the trusty battering knife right there. Let's see what all comes in the Magic Keyboard for the iPad. So in typical Apple fashion, very minimal packaging. See right there. And the opening is very rigid, but it's just typical iPad unboxing. The top, there's the actual folio right there. And you can flip it out like that. There's also a little tab here you can pull up. And you can see nothing else in the box. That. And then if you open it up, you can see the information that's in there. Now in here, it's just the Designed by Apple. You pull this out in California. You open it up. It should have stickers. You know, Apple puts stickers in everything. Oh, no stickers in there. Was this one of the first items that they don't include stickers? Yeah, no stickers. Wow. That's different. Apple usually puts, unless there's some in here. No, the rest is just, see right there. The rest is just plastic or the cardboard that was in there. Wow, I'm surprised. No stickers. Yep. All right. So the first thing I will tell you about this keyboard is that the hinge is very tight. It is very rigid. Now, it doesn't go all the way back, as you can hear, and you can hear kind of a click. So let me see if I can get it. So it stops right there. So this thing does not allow you to put the iPad all the way back, which is expected. But this particular part bends. There. So it bends. And it's meant to give you that floating feature that we've seen for the iPad. Now, one cool thing about this is that it does, see if I can get it on this camera right here, right there. It'll focus. I'm not sure if it'll focus. Kind of hard to see, and it's kind of hard to get the camera to focus. But that is a USB Type-C charger. Yeah, right there. Yeah. So what's cool is that it does charge the iPad. It does have a smart connector on here, which allows you to charge the iPad with that. So that way the USB Type-C port that is on the iPad can be used for data transfer, things like that. Because the one unfortunate thing is that this USB Type-C port does not support data transfer. So all it does is charge your iPad. Now, I say all it does because that's pretty amazing that with the smart connectors, which you can see in the case right there, kind of hard to see, but you can see them right there. That allows you to charge your iPad. So you don't necessarily need to utilize a dongle that allows charge pass through. You can just directly charge it with this case. It doesn't have a battery built into it, so you'll still have to be docked. But as long as you can plug in the USB Type-C port to there, it'll automatically charge your iPad, which then frees up, as I mentioned, the port on the iPad for data, to plug in a hard drive, external hard drive, jump drive, and so forth. Wonder how the hinge is going to hold over time. I mean, it doesn't allow you to push it. I mean, like, I don't know. All the Apple products that I've had, laptops specifically, the hinges have never really failed on me. It does go back into its opening very smoothly, but when it goes down, it is pretty rigid. And then when you open it, that's one of the things I know Linus Tech Tips did, is that it doesn't do one finger opening. You kind of have to hold it down. You kind of have to open it up, and it could be because of the rigidness of the hinge. We'll see how long that holds up. But you bring up a good point. Let's see how long it does hold up. So now let's see how easy it is to get it connected to an iPad. Now again, I have the 2018 version. One thing also about this particular folio case is that it is really, really difficult at times to take this out, to take the iPad out. Let's see if I can do this relatively easily. One good thing is that when you do put it in there, it is very snug, but one of the downsides is that it can be pretty difficult sometimes to take it out. And there, again, I have the 2018, which is why I only got the one camera, but I don't do any camera work really with the internal camera. Maybe to do a product shot real quick for a thumbnail, but other than that, I don't use any of these camera iPads for any filmmaking environment. And then it's really as simple, see if I can back, as medically there is why the iPad looks like it's floating. And then what is pretty cool about this iPad is that once you connect it, you do not have to, for this particular folio. So the magical part of this keyboard, other than, or the folio, other than it's passed through to the smart connector on the iPad, which if you're unfamiliar with the smart connector, remember I showed you those dots, they connect to those magnets right there. And that allows to charge the iPad, which is what that USB Type-C port is on the side. But what is really cool about this particular product is when they released mouse support on iPad OS, you had to go in there and you had to manually set it up in your accessibility area of your iPad. Once you plug this in, the iPad already knows that it's an Apple product. So we'll see how many third-party application or third-party folios are given this access. But essentially, once you plug it in, you can see the mouse cursor kind of moving around a little bit right there. The mouse cursor is automatically brought up. See it moving? So it's automatically already brought up once you connect this to your iPad. Just first impressions, it's definitely lighter. I mean, this entire setup, the iPad with the folio case, is pretty much, I mean, I don't know the specifics, so don't take me word for word, but just overall real life picking this up, this feels a tad lighter for this by itself. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is by itself, this feels a tad lighter, right? This only feels a little bit heavier, but you got to keep in mind that's the iPad with the folio on it. So the fact that both of them are on there means it's not essentially super heavy and overloaded. And what I do like is the thin profile. Considering, yes, this one does give, I think, a little bit more protection because it does give the protection on the corners, which the iPad Smart Keyboard or the Folio keyboard, also the original one, doesn't offer. But I've yet to, knock on wood, drop my iPad. And this does have pretty much full corner protection, other than the bottom and the top. It's got the corners. It has the rocker buttons for the plus and minus for the volume right there. This one pretty much keeps the iPad exposed on the outside top. But again, in true Apple fashion, the way it works and the way that it's just able to automatically pick up your kneading, and the fact that when you put it on there, it's got pretty good viewing angles. I would say this is keyboard, just the fact that it brought back uh, the better keyboard than the failed ones that were on the newer MacBooks. The the tactile feel of the keypad, or I'm sorry, the trackpad is awesome. It's smooth. It feels just like a MacBook um, trackpad. It's really smooth, really soft, really good travel. There's different keystrokes for this thing, but that'll be more in a later video. So again, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, punch that bell icon, because I will be doing a review. This was just an initial first impressions unboxing of this magic, quote unquote, magic keyboard from Apple. So far, I like it. So once you click into a group or a stack of apps and you have it in a folder, if you have multiple apps that make 2 to 3 different screens that you have to swipe through, with the trackpad, you just slide and it opens so you can kind of see it. But okay, so again, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing so that way you'll be notified when we post more videos. And as soon as I'm able to film my full review of this, give it a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, then I'll be filming my full review of this particular product, because so far, just by unboxing it and putting it on the iPad, it feels amazing. Are there any questions? No questions. All right, everybody. Well, thank each and every one of you for stopping on by. This was just a quick unboxing of the new Apple keyboard. Not relatively new. Now, before we move on and before we close out the price, there are 2 versions of it. There's a version for the 11-inch, which is $299, and then there's the 12.9-inch version, which is $349. Now, considering the Logitech one was, I believe, $149 or $189, it's definitely a premium product. It definitely goes up in price considering what Logitech sells their keyboards for. But you got to keep in mind it is Apple. It is, I mean, you can feel it the moment you put it on and the moment you start utilizing it very, very minimally that I've already done. You can feel it was made for the iPad. It just works completely in sync with everything that this thing has. So I think it's an amazing product. Again, we'll see how it goes. I know Tech for Your Needs brought up a great point. Is how long will the hinge hold up? Only time will tell. Let's see. In a month, we'll test it out when I'll be doing my full review, and let's see if anything has changed on it. The only negative is not for Illustrator people. It is for certain people. Yeah, I mean, depending on the route you're gonna go, um, the keyboard may not necessarily be something. If you're an illustrator, if you're a drawer, you may not necessarily need it. So maybe just an easy portfolio case over it to kind of keep it from scratching and stuff like that. Maybe something that you would go for. You may not necessarily need an entire keyboard. But alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I will be ending the stream now. Thank you so much for stopping on by. I greatly appreciate your support. If you haven't already done so, hit that thumbs up. It greatly, greatly helps out this channel. Um, If there are any questions or anything, leave those down in the comments, and I will check you guys out in the next one. All right, peace out.